The Broken Dub podcast analyzes what makes Olympic athletes, comedians, writers, and creatives great. Season 1 is titled Breakthroughs. This season of the podcast delves into the breakthroughs we have in our respective fields when we destigmatize mental health and move past the roadblocks within our minds. Executive produced by Ellen Utrecht of Mike TV. Take one, baby. Come on. Smash the like, subscribe, follow. You know the drill. This is the Broken Dove Podcast, and I'm your host, Danny Simmons. We're here on the Broken Dove Podcast. We have Michael Vlamis, auteur alert, Michael Vlamis, V Money. He is a good friend, ball player, Ched Daddy, third base, shortstop, pitcher. He can do it all. I mean, he could catch and pitch all in the same play. Come on. Michael Vlamis is an actor, he's a writer, he's a filmmaker from Chi-Town, Shy or Die, right? And he's currently starring in the hit series Roswell, New Mexico. He wrote, produced, and starred in Meme, A True Hollywood Story, which won the 2016 Tribeca Film Festival. He and his mutual friend Joe Manconi and our mutual friend, come on, JM, they did their first feature film, FYA, 5 years apart, which Vlamis produced and starred in. It premiered at the 2019 LA Indie Film Festival. Michael is also an accomplished writer, and his Mac Miller biopic, Blue Slide Park, made the 2019 Blacklist. Michael is rep by CAA and Grandview. Vlamis is an absolute force with an insatiable desire for life. He's a Halo top fiend, Heineken ambassador, blunt aficionado, and hustler. I met Michael while working at Sony Pictures International Distribution, and he was slinging watches for Modify. Never forget where you started. Come on. That's right. And
so much breath, dude. How are you right now?
Come on, dude. I just did a Peloton with Cody Rigsby, baby. He's got me going, man. On that good.
Jacked up, dude. I gotta get on your level.
Vlamis and I would gas each other up via voicemail back when it wasn't, creepy to call someone. I don't have much talent, but I am a great judge of it. So that moment we met, it was, I knew he'd make it. I swear, I knew it. I was like, we were doing Bones, and I was like, no doubt, this guy's gonna hit it out like Frank Thomas. I know you're a, Cubs guy, but come on, Chicago. We did. I mean,
bro, you didn't know.
Man. But yeah, the script we were shooting at the time was, it was an atrocity, but we had a great time, and it's always like been ingrained in my heart. And I knew from that moment, like, dude, you were destined for greatness. So with no further ado, welcome to the Broken Dove Podcast, the Sultan of Swag, Michael V Money Vlamis.
Oh my God, I have never had an introduction like that, man. But I'm not surprised because you brought up the voicemails. I literally still have maybe 2 or 3 of your voicemails saved. One of them is a 3-minute, just 3 minutes of you freestyling. That's right. You are very talented. You not only recognize talent, you know talent because you are talented, dude.
Game recognized game. Come on. Game recognized game.
Do you really believe that you knew I would be successful based off a 4-minute sketch? You know what, dude? You might be like a prophet or something, but I think at that time I didn't even know if things were going to work out,
Dude, I got to be honest. No, it's pretty weird. I mean, obviously there was Brian Clem, I remember, was there, Charlie Piro, and I forgot. Shoot, I'm it's one other name slipping my mind, but I do remember being like, it was an early morning call time for no apparent reason. It was like 7 a.m., 6 a.m. or something. And it was just like, guys who want to get together on a Saturday after working hard so early in the game, was just, that's like the hustle, that's the grind, that's the stuff that it takes to get to where you are and where we're going. And then kind of
for people that don't know, it was like 2013 or 14 or something.
Yeah.
And we were just a bunch, everybody, we didn't know each other yet, we were just getting introduced, and but a mutual friend put us in touch, and it was like, hey, these are guys that want to make stuff. We're not satisfied with just climbing the ladder. How can we jump the ladder on our own? We thought, hey, let's start shooting some sketches. And yeah, we got together. I think we were shooting at your house, right? At your garage?
I think it was Charlie's garage or something. Yeah, it was like it was in Culver City though. So it was nearby where I lived. And right. Yeah, it was just a ridiculous morning. We were honestly like kind of like self-aware mocking the script half the time. But it was.
I know, dude. Makes a lot of sense. That's how we are. We just treat each other, hype each other up, but yeah. That is, man. It's funny how many things we've collaborated on or supported each other on since then. I mean, we've been boys since that one random sketch, you know?
Random. Yeah. So we, that was obviously Charlie Pirro. So he brought us together and he played baseball at Chapman, and we met in the Hawaii Collegiate Baseball League. So you had a stint as a baseball player. You played the great game. Can you tell me about how your experience playing ball and the grind of baseball helped you overcome adversity, kind of getting into Hollywood?
Yeah, definitely, man. I think my experience was a little different than most people's because faces adversity in sports. And I'm not trying to say like, oh, boo-hoo, I face much. But, dude, by the time I got out of college, man, I had like surgery on like 7 different things. So I got hurt all the time. And that was always the hardest thing about getting hurt was that it would shut down my baseball season. I'm talking getting hurt. I'm talking luck. Like, I think I have, so I'm not gonna be one of those people that like this would happen to me. I can't when people say that because I think you're gonna get what's coming for you. Sorry if I cursed. Yeah. But dude, like as a kid, things would be going so well. I remember like 5th grade, I was getting ready to go into middle school, playing travel baseball, feeling awesome. All of a sudden, the neighbor's German Shepherd attacked me. Like there's the bottom row of teeth. I got the top row up here. All of a sudden, I'm out for the season. And now I lose the season of being able to be as good and all that stuff. And dude, I just kept getting hurt, man. ACL, meniscus, this hand broke, nose broke twice. Like everything was telling me that you should stop playing sports. You're not meant for this, which I think aided my journey as a filmmaker because I just kept going back to baseball. It was all I knew. It was all I did. I didn't go to any graduation party senior year, summer going into college, because you're playing travel ball. You're trying to get ready for college. And I missed so many things. I sacrificed so much. And I was in that baseball lane. And I don't even think I probably was never supposed to be in that lane, if we're being honest, but Dad's a stud athlete. I loved baseball. I love baseball, and that's what I thought I wanted to do. I didn't know what I wanted to do.
Yeah.
But the adversity from the injuries, dude, and I just kept going. It feels the same thing as like the 5.5 years of no in every audition I had, and then just kept going. It's almost like, how could somebody have like 7 surgeries and keep playing a sport? You're an idiot. Like, stop, dude. Your body meant for this, man. Maybe if you're like already successful and in your prime and all that, and you want to keep going. But like my whole life, I just kept getting hurt, kept stopping me from playing baseball, but I kept going. And that's what I think it takes to make it in the entertainment industry, which in a lot of ways, very similar. I love what you're doing with this podcast because it is so similar, dude. The parallels are pretty crazy. And yeah, so I just always felt like resilient, just like with sports, with acting, with getting no's, with getting turned down. It felt like, oh no, I could do this. I can keep going.
Yeah, there's something interesting. Like I had the same thing. I was on JV as a junior, which is a pretty strange thing to be a junior on junior varsity. I obviously went to the best baseball school in the nation, Chatsworth High School, but still, like being a 6'5" junior to be on a junior varsity team, and then go 1 year later, literally as a freshman, to be the Friday night starter in college. Just to tell you, like how that's kind of like a similar trajectory. Like no, and then boom, CAA, boom, TV show. And it's just, we have as a human, there's such a human nature to quit in us to not keep pushing. And I think there's just such a unique, like even through MMA training, I've done a little bit, they talk about that idea, like you can just keep hitting your opponent and their wall, and you just keep kicking this wall, and eventually that wall will crumble. And a lot of people think, oh, okay, I'm not going to be able to do this. This wall is so strong, but it's that Kill Bill mentality, that Uma Thurman, big feet, and you have that, that kick. But yeah, so obviously you talked a little bit about your father. Did your father's affinity for pools lure you closer to your Speedo rocking washboard ab daddy writing partner, Kyle Anderson? Come on.
My dad's affinity for pools because he was a water polo player.
Yeah.
You know what, dude? Me and Kyle, we bonded a lot over that. So cool. Kyle, my writing partner, Kyle Anderson, right? We do everything together, and we're going to be directing our first movie in June actually together too. So taking that next step. But yeah, so Kyle played water polo at Indiana University. My dad was a high school and college All-American in water polo, like the best of the best, you know? And so because my dad was playing in Chicago and a Midwest guy, and Kyle's family's from Michigan and his dad played water polo too, they know a lot of the same guys. So there's always that extra bond when not only do you guys know a lot of the same people in LA, you know, you all come together, but you can trace back like, oh, your family friend is my dad's really good family. You know, it's one of those things that I think is rare to find when you relocate somewhere. But I found that in Kyle, and it definitely, in addition to just being a Midwest guy, you know, it makes the bond a lot stronger.
And I
was lured to his Speedo. Speedos.
Yeah, he does, dude.
He'll walk in my bedroom and just be wearing a Speedo. And I'm like, dude, it's the middle of the day, man. Maybe
put the bulge away. Yeah, come on. Yeah. Yeah. That's so we all know you as you're a beautiful man with beautiful hair, washboard abs with a taste of proper mid. Yeah. But let's get real. What are some of your rituals right now? Obviously we're in the pandemic and we're trying to work out, stay fit, and you have to get ready for, all the upcoming auditions, your next season of Roswell. How do you get into your rituals, into your flow like you used to in the past today?
Oh, dude, it's so hard nowadays. I will be honest, man. I used to be the guy that was like, if someone said they didn't have time to work out, I was the guy that was like, yeah, you're full of shit. Like, you make time, you get it done. You know, I was the guy that if I had a 7 a.m. flight one morning on a Friday, leaving college to go visit my family, I was in the gym at like 4 a.m, getting that workout in. Now I'm a polar opposite. Now I have to like really, really focus to even get like 20 minutes on the spin bike every day, you know, which is basically what my work has been lately, dude. But here's the thing, my diet, dude, that's my biggest thing. So I have to get into really good shape. My diet is, I go as hard as possible, no carbs, no sugar. Try to stay away from the booze, man, maybe a little bit of wine here and there. But when it comes down to it, it's really no carbs, no sugar, and just the discipline of I eat as little as possible every time I eat. So I'm eating breakfast. As soon as I feel like satiated at all, or even if I feel fully, I'll put the food down though. Now, if I'm still hungry, I might go back to that hour or 2 hours, you know? So people, when I'm home visiting family, they're always like, you're eating all day. Like my mom thinks I eat as much as I did when I was a little chubby kid. But the truth is I just eat so often throughout the day because I really focus on eating the minimal amount every meal. So I believe kind of in that poking the fire in feeding, you know, when you overeat, your insulin levels in your body spike. When your insulin levels spike, that's when you're most susceptible to storing fat. So if you're always just giving yourself the bare minimum, I think your energy, you feel better. I think your mood's a little bit better. I mean, you're not starving yourself, right? You're eating every time you're hungry, but you're only eating a little bit. And I think throughout the day, you end up eating a little bit more or a little bit less calories. And I think that I think in the end, I really do believe that it's a calories in versus calorie out thing. I do think it matters what calories. I don't think you can just crush a bunch of Twinkies, you know. I know some people have done that in studies before and they've lost weight, but dude, I think the trick is no carbs, no sugar, and minimal amount every time you eat. You can go eat again an hour, but eat a little bit only.
Yeah. I've been doing I've been in the pandemic. I've actually lost weight, which is kind of contrary to what everyone else is discussing, right? I don't know.
Yeah, you look lanky.
I know. I feel.
Dude, I don't know if it's just because you're wearing my face, like you look good, but yeah. Good.
It's a medium, dude. I gotta be honest. I ordered two. This is straight up a medium, and I'm fitting into it. I have an XL that's like it's falling off me. My pants are falling off. I'm doing just what you're describing, and obviously I was hitting the sauce way too hard in 2020. I mean, who wasn't? I was slamming quarantinis. I was like, dude, I love them. Dirty blue cheese, give it to me, baby. But I just was like, I'm not gonna drink I do a super Lent, which I've done. I don't know if I've told you about this. I start on January. I do like dry Jan, and it goes to the end of Lent. It's torturous. Yeah, so I go super Lent, give up booze, and then I'm like, okay, I don't have that problem this year, and then I just get obviously after it in spring and summer. But the one thing I did notice is that I've been doing the smaller amounts, and then trying to do eating less late at night. So just lowering the threshold. But last night, obviously, I had a pint of Haagen-Dazs. I did I slammed no Halo Top anymore. I did a full on like burrito, chili relleno, 3 bags of chips. You got to have a cheat day. So Friday night cheat meal, especially when you're giving up booze and blunts. Let's be real. So honestly, we
blunts too.
I know 30 days. I can't do super Lent for that. Sorry.
Dude, no.
Even January 1st, I was like, it's still noon. It still counts, Yeah. So we all, it's leaving it. It's still New Year's. And so we all know ego is the enemy, right? We as a society have such big egos now more than ever. And we see it obviously in our elected officials sometimes. How do you keep, you have so much going for you, so much creativity, so much good flow and good energy. How do you keep your ego in check when you're getting all of these, this positive affirmation in the world?
Oh, dude, it's such a hard question to answer, man, because part of me feels like the dude who's behind you on the wall. Part of me feels like that guy who fucking told everybody how great he was and how he's the shit. That's why he was that good. I know a person who talks like that and doesn't back it up is the worst. The person who talks like that and then backs it up, you're like, well, all right. I mean, I want that guy on my team because he not only believes in himself, but he gets the job done. So part of me feels like I like people like that. I like the guy that I know when there's 2 seconds on the clock, I'm passing him and he's going to make whether he makes it or not, I don't care. He's going to take the shot and he's not afraid to take the shot, But with that, you have to be that good. Otherwise you're a fucking douchebag,
Yeah.
So Muhammad Ali was that good, man. That is Ali, right? I'm not.
No, you're spot on, 100%. No. Yeah, I know. It's like, it's a Zoom.
What's that?
No.
Okay.
This is also Vlamis. This is you.
Yeah. You're like, dude.
Another legend.
Yeah. Dude. So yeah, man. So I think the ego is interesting because I think you have to have a really strong belief in yourself. But I think why ego gets knocked so much is because I think ego comes with a lack of self-awareness. And there's a great book by Eckhart Tolle called A New Earth that my girlfriend actually gifted me because she read it and it really just kind of it resonated with her and I read it, and the stuff in it is kind of stuff that I will, after experiencing, I think, heartbreak for the first time. And in experiencing heartbreak, you go reevaluate yourself and you reevaluate your life, and you start realizing, oh, I was acting egotistical in these situations because of insecurities. So I think a lot of ego can stem from that. But I think like someone like Muhammad Ali, I think the dude just really believed he was that good. And I think you need to have that. Now, do you need to tell everyone that you're that good? No, but like, and I definitely,
sometimes you have to,
you got to inflate yourself sometimes, especially when you have that you're naive to even have, like the success that we want in this industry is just like a pro athlete. Like of all the people in the world, in the history of humankind, there haven't been that many people who have been professional athletes or, been able to get a movie greenlit just because they're attached as an actor, like goals and things like that you aspire to that are so lofty. You gotta be a little full of yourself to think that you can do it. Why you? Why should it be you? Because it's going to be, and that's what that's how you have to feel. And that's how you have to work towards it. So dude, yeah, I'm split, man, because I think ego can be a really, really dangerous thing. But the more self-aware you are of it, the more times where you notice, oh, okay, this is ego kicking in a little bit, then I think you can have a little bit more balance with it, because it can be very dangerous, but it can also be what's necessary to give you a competitive edge. So I've got a love-hate relationship with it, and I try to monitor it as much as possible. But dude, for being real, man, I always thought I would get to where I wanted to go. I never didn't think that. Now, I don't know if I ever believed that with baseball, though. I think truly in, pun intended, bones, the sketch that we met on, in my bones, did I think I was going to be a pro baseball player one day? I think I thought I was going to be. I don't think I knew I was going to be. Now, when it came to film, something different was going on inside. I knew.
Gives me chills.
A long time,
Yeah.
Well, you know how it is, dude. When you know you're right for something, when you know something is like you have a feeling that this is what it's supposed to be. I don't think I ever fully had that with baseball, unfortunately. And I don't think it's something you can manufacture. It's just something that hits you at some point with whatever you're supposed to do with your life, you know, what your purpose is. And some people may never find that. Fortunately, I found it. So yeah, man, I'm rambling, but
no, dude, this is interesting. Yeah. You know, it's a yin and yang thing. I mean, it is a balance, because if you don't actually visualize and write it down and believe in it, I mean, it's just a waste of time. It is an interesting question you asked or brought up, which was with baseball. I wonder if I thought, you know, there's the think and then there's knowing, right? Even in the Matrix, they talk about it. You know, don't just do it. You got to walk through the door. I can't force you to. I can show you how to be a pro baseball player. I knew that one of the things I lacked as a to go to the next level was that I didn't want it bad enough to shoot the needle in my ass. Like all the people I knew who got to the next level were doing, or take the pill, whatever that was. So that part of baseball, which we know is rampant, and either you get caught or you didn't. I didn't realize that everyone that I knew that was throwing 100 or 96 or 7, even if they're fat or skinny, they're saucing. And I didn't know, but I got to that level just by grinding. And it is an interesting thing with entertainment, though. And I remember the moment where I was like, I know that I'm going to be a powerful producer. I'm going to be a fucking badass director. And it was with John Weiser, I don't know if he still is, the head of TV at Sony Pictures, and Mangela. I don't forget her dad directed and wrote The English Patient, blah, blah, blah. She, was I was able, they said no to some idea in a pitch room. And it was actually for a volunteer organization that I volunteered for. And they both said, no, we're not doing this thing called the Greenlight series. And all of the little minions that were with me said, no. And they repeated it. And I don't even remember how I did it. I convinced all of them to go from no to yes. And then I made a joke and I was like, Kobe or something like that. And they laughed. And I was like, how did I do that? I was like, and I called my coach, Coach Dan O'Brien. I left a voicemail and I said, hey, I know I'm going to do this. I remember vividly, I sent him an email and a voicemail. I was like, it's going to happen. It's done. It was 2013. I was like, I'm going to be big. It's not going to be a little big. It's going to be huge. Hung up. Obviously, so, I'm still a little schmeckle in the world, but it was just that moment. I just needed to know that against the biggest naysayers, the biggest no people, I turned 2 of the biggest people, and I was just an assistant at the time, and I got them in to say yes. And that coach talked about the 4 quadrants of human. You have the people who are bad and they think they're good, right? They're not like Muhammad Ali right there. Sorry, bro. They're bad. They think they're good. They wear all the flair. They talk about it. I'm going to be a big time actor. And they're doing the selfies and we mock them, right? And then there are the people who are bad and they know they're bad. That's most people. There are people who are good and they think they're bad. And that's actually where I was recently. And I've been there for a long time. It's depression, it's negative self-talk, negative doubt, and all this stuff. Yeah. And then there's the next moment, which is the oneness moment, the secret of the universe, the power of the universe, which is you're good and you know you're good. And that's where I think you're in. Obviously, I think I just jumped into that place. I'm like, I'm good. I know I'm good. I'm just there. And I'm like, stone cold stuttering into that section. I'm like, good. I know I'm good. It's boom. And you can't, and it's an interesting thing, it's cool to hear your perspective. Cause you're right. It's like with baseball, I don't know if I actually knew it either. I was always like, fuck, I wanted to, but I think that the grind of baseball taught me what this was really important for where we are today, and what we're doing today. Now,
100%. We're athletes, man. When you show up for work, you got hundreds of people eyes on you on set. And that is when I'm at my best. I want my back against the wall. I want as much pressure as possible. There is no failure in this moment. And that's when I perform. Otherwise, dude, I just don't care. I wait till the last minute sometimes to prep certain things because I like the idea that not if I'm directing or something, I get my time in, my shot list, all that stuff. But for an actor, man, there's something so being on the spot, you're really good at being on the spot. You're witty. You're like an improv king. Being on the spot, dude, I will never I don't want to rehearse the scene. Put me in. Let's figure it. Let's just do it, But a lot of people operate differently, so you got to learn the different you know, especially when you got guest stars coming in or new.
Yeah.
But yeah, something about that moment where you're, you know, bottom of the ninth, and I don't know how sustainable it is to make everything feel that way, but it gets me off. So, you know.
Yeah. No, it's wild, man. I mean, that's so true. Like, I like the fire, makes you stronger. So can you tell me a little bit about, obviously, your creative process with Kyle and how you guys like generate all this, you know, your genius?
Dude, I mean, it really just comes down to, fortunately for Kyle and myself, my writing partner and I, we're on the same page about so many when it comes to like what we find interesting and what we find funny. Both very interested in music. So like the Mac Miller biopic we wrote, that was a no-brainer. A lot of the things that we've written or come together on were just because it all started with Kyle just being like the funniest dude I had ever met. One of the funniest people, man. And one of the most talented, dude. He's like you, like he could break out and it could like off the, and it's great. You know, like that doesn't happen, dude. That's like a gift. And he had that gift and he was riffing on some ideas and I really gravitated towards him. And, you know, we started coming to, I think the biggest in our process is that we're just always on the same page. And even if we're not on the same page, we're able to, he's very comfortable to be like, that's stupid. And I'll be like, nah, bro, this doesn't make any sense. You know, like we go at each other and to get it to a good place, but it comes from a sense of trust, you know? So our process, like for instance, the movie that we're directing over in June, right? During the quarantine, my roommates were doing the crossword puzzle in LA. Kyle was like the king of the crossword. He loved the word. And I just started thinking about like, oh, wow, dude, like what if the crossword started haunting you? You know, that would be, and I talked to Kyle about it and Kyle was like, that's a cool idea. I also love the cross. And so our process just, it always stems from like a nugget of an idea that we find interesting. And then usually a title opens up a lot of stuff for us. Big on our titles. And then we sit down and we obviously we brainstorm for a while, probably like a couple of weeks of brainstorming. And then we do a thorough beat sheet, like exterior, interior of every scene in the entire movie, like a whole outline where we write dialogue in there. We write what characters' motives are, what their wants are. It's just literally the movie in this outline. After we figure out who the characters are and what the source of the, you know, the main idea of the story is, all that, the world we build, but it's that in-depth beat sheet, interior, exterior, that kind of sets us up, paves the way for us to dive in and then write a script. And then once we're writing a script, we know where we're going. Obviously it's going to be edited, but we're just improvising the whole script then, you know, we're just kind of filling in the pieces of the puzzle. But that's what it is, man. It just starts with an idea that we're on board with, and then we beat it to death, dude.
That's cool.
In order, and
so this
probably do similar stuff, right? Like you got to have a good outline to get your story across. Some people just write off the cusp, but we like to outline.
I love an outline. I'm like a big Blake Snyder beat sheet guy, Save the Cat guy. I don't know, just for comedy, it just really. It's such a crisp and clean way. Way I learned and just obviously read all the books, and you kind of pick apart what works for you. And then one of the things I do is I just start thinking of like set pieces. So for comedy, I think one of my skills, I kind of got away a little bit from comedy. I got really depressed, you know, like about 5 years ago, and I just got away from. I didn't feel funny for a long time. I had like, you know, I used to rip improv for forever, and I was just doing it, killing it, but also burning the candle at both ends. So I think I kind of got away from that, but I always have been able to write like the set piece that really stands out in screenplays for other people, for other people's films, and like, you know, ghostwrite those ideas and punch up jokes. But I definitely think that I do the Blake Snyder beat sheet, beat it out, and then I do the exterior kind of boom, 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 break those down. But I like to think about moments that are just like really salient to when this is going to break and shift each character and their intentions, and when we're going to arc. You know, everything's about arcing, right? You know, I think you and I, even in life, like it's all about arcing and being more vulnerable, and then also growing and being strong. And so there's just so many parallels, even to politics today. Like there's very little arc. So we know that there's going to be a shift. We just don't know when it's going to come. And we're like, Jesus, is this the catalyst? Is this the catalyst? When is it going to break to act 2? I feel like, this is the longest page 7, and it is a brutal page 7, dude. This thing, boom. So I feel like
that's the art, dude. That's the art, is stringing along that tension throughout the film.
Yeah.
Whether it's a comedy or drama or whatever, man, like some kind of tension. You know, a lot of comedy comes from the tension too. So I totally understand. I can't believe you. There was a period where you didn't think you were funny.
Yeah, I was real, dude. I was
serious, dude. You're out of your mind.
I am out of my mind. No, that's what, you know, I know it's, thank you, man. I was just really, there's that moment, right, where you have, I had this self-doubt and just true a pit of in my heart. I was really depressed, really sad and doubting myself. I also picked up this documentary, Suffer for Good. And
for good, man.
So that took a lot out of me, and I learned how to make a documentary, which is the way harder, I think, than writing any comedy. It just takes a lot of time, and learning how to operate camera.
How you made a feature doc,
dude? It's
insane.
And I got another one too in the mix. But hey, we want to stick. This is on you, V Money, but we will get back to this. I've heard the legend. I want to say you told me about how you got repped by CIA. Is this story for real? Can you give me the deep cuts, the real truth? Come on. What?
Man, I usually don't say who I pretended to be the assistant of, just because I don't need his sons who are big in the industry to come after me or anything like that. I don't think I would, but the assistant of a big movie producer, my senior year of college, trying to break in. Someone I heard there was an opening to assist this guy who used to be a legend. And I was like, well, shit, I don't know anybody in the industry. You know, I'll drive up from my school in Orange County an hour a week or hour 3 times a week to assist this guy for no pay because he'll introduce me to people. So I did that, and I got the job, and I would drive up, and dude, like after like a few months of working with him, I'd be sitting with him one-on-one after 3 months, and he would ask me what my name was. Like, he lost it. And he actually passed away. He was in memoriam at one of the Oscars in the past couple of years, which once they don't figure out who he is. But he passed away recently, and you know, his health he was old, dude. He was a legend back in the day. So this guy who I just was like, I'm doing all this free for him to put casting directors and producers and actors, all of a sudden didn't even know what my name was. So he developed Alzheimer's, and I had once again, I went back to like having no connects. But I started thinking after I graduated, you know, I kept working for him. And then I was like, okay, well, everything in this industry, everybody works on referral. I have nobody to refer me. How can I refer myself? And so then I started picking up the phone the same way that I was picking up the phone for this guy saying, hey, this is Michael Vlamis, assistant. I want you to look at this project. Oh, I just said it.
Well, we'll edit that out. This is the great thing. We can
just bleep it.
Okay, well then we'll bleep it. Okay, that's great. Yeah.
I think
we'll bleep it
if it's bleeped.
Hey, this is Michael Vlamis. Beep. Yeah.
All of a sudden I started saying, hey, this is James White at so-and-so Productions. I'm so-and-so's assistant, and he's having me call on behalf of a young actor he really believes in named Michael Vlamis. And so all of a sudden, all these people that I was emailing blindly, my resume and my reel, all of a sudden all started responding to this assistant. They never respond to my personal emails, but they respond to this assistant. And because I had a pretty good reel built from my senior year of acting at Chapman University in Orange County. So they watch the reel. They're like, okay, this guy recommends this kid, and the kid has some talent here. Let's take a meeting with him. So I started getting meetings. I would walk in. They'd be like, hey, nice to meet you. James and so-and-so have the best things to say about you. And I was just like, I'm fucking James, dog. You know, I didn't.
I'm James.
Yeah, that's how I got my rep, my first manager. That's how I got with CAA. Yeah, man, it's all bullshit, dude. It's when they say fake it, like, yeah, fake it, but like, you know, have the belief, but like, you know, you're not faking your talent. You're just faking what you need to do in order to be recognized or get in the room, you know?
You're just faking the key to get into the room, and you can't nobody can fake the sauce. Nobody can fake the sauce.
Just fake an opportunity. I just needed an opportunity, man. Nobody was giving you.
Do you know, there's an interesting thing. There's an interesting thing I read that 16%, only 16% of above the line people are from blue collar jobs. So like, so any, above the line in Hollywood, 16%. So that's not even including nepotism, right? So when we really start to analyze, you have nepotism and then also socioeconomic status, it makes sense how you have to get into these rooms because the gatekeepers have made these giant fences that really were kind of created by these agencies and management companies. And you obviously had the talent. I remember seeing that reel where you're shirtless, ripping, you're hitting the boxing back. Am I right? Right? Where you're shirtless and you're punching. And
like short film ever, dude.
Yes. I was like, dude, this guy's got some decent pec game. He's got some pec game. And I also here, I have another vivid memory because I used to work out at LA Fitness in the Valley with Christian Pierce, who's going to be on this pod as well. And
my God,
Cap Daddy, and obviously Chicago born, Valley raised. And I remember watching on Black Pills, one of your biggest, I think it's one of your first as an actor, right? Your big opportunity in a lead role, right? On Simi Valley, right? Am I right on this? One of your main roles. Yeah. And I was so stoked for you, and I was watching, and I was
never booked at that time. Yeah, biggest role ever. That was mid 2017.
Yeah, I was like, man, and I grew up, Simi Valley adjacent. What was it like working on that project, and how did that prepare you for CW's Roswell, New Mexico, and all the other things you're now working on?
Dude, I actually learned so much on that project, not with just performance, but also just as an actor and as a person in the industry, because I got that because so the director and the writer I went to college with, the writer used to live in my living room his first year in LA. The director, I didn't know that well. Now we're really good buddies, but at the time I didn't know him that well because I wasn't in the film school. I was in business school. So I just snuck into some short films my senior year. I didn't know all the film school kids. So these guys who I know and are making this show that I kept hearing them talk about for months, I found out they were casting it and they never reached out to me. And I was like, are you fucking kidding me, dude? You're not going to give me an audition? And they thought that I was more of a comedy guy. So they didn't think it made sense for me. But I pretty much told them, I was like, dude, just give me an opportunity. This is ridiculous. And
I love that.
Well, dude, you needed it, man. There's some people who would be so egotistical that they would be offended that they weren't offered the opportunity. My ass is so egotistical that I'm like, I'll show you that you should have offered me the opportunity. I never understood the grudge, insecurity. No, dude, I understand where they're coming from. We're not dumb. I get it. I would think I could only do comedy too, probably, but they don't know in my brain. So let's go show them. And so, dude, I above and beyond. I put a bunch of my girlfriend at the time. I had her put a bunch of tattoos all over my body, and I went in there as this character that was way more extreme than the character on the page, way more of a thug and all of these things, just to show them that you have no idea what I can be. And I got the role. So got the role. And right when I got the role, I learned something else that week. Because as soon as I booked it, I got a call from a buddy of mine, producer, who I had met randomly a few weeks prior, or maybe a few months prior. And we had developed a little bit of a relationship. And he was doing a short film that was a huge budget, David Arquette and I don't know, just a bunch of random people. But the money behind it was insane. The connections behind it was insane. And he was like, one of our lead guys just dropped out. I think you could do this role. And meanwhile, I'm like, okay, when does it shoot? He's like, it shoots Friday. And I was like, oh, that's when Simi Valley shoots. But I almost I had an opportunity to be in this very high profile, super connected short film. And the Simi Valley thing, that was my first dramatic piece that I really needed to focus on. The short film was a comedy where I'm this out of my mind agent. And so, dude, luckily Simi Valley was night shoots. The big break, this short film, were day shoots. So I didn't sleep, dude. I almost said no to it. But then it was dude, this is what you've been working for. This is what you live for. And when it rains, it pours, and you're getting it right now. You need to do this. And yeah, man, I worked all day. Luckily, the short was only 2 days. Simi was 2 weeks. But the short, 2 of those days of shooting were all day acting in this short film, and then driving to Simi Valley from like downtown Los Angeles and then acting all night and not sleeping in Simi Valley. So I learned a lot. I learned like what I was capable of doing. I learned to trust myself as much as possible. I learned that when you step onto set on a short film that's got, I'm talking big money behind it and big names, when they yell action, you can handle yourself, so it was a lot of moments like that prepared me for Roswell for sure. And the short film actually led to me booking a movie that took me to Hawaii in January of 2018. Everything, it was called The Resort.
With the Brock?
Yeah.
I remember seeing you out there. Yeah, I remember seeing you just doing workouts. I was like, whether it's just like a branded content shoot or whatnot, you got in great shape. So that's all that really matters. You got ripped. You got great content. You got great content. The film will come out, but I mean, come on, it's about the tent,
Yeah, exactly. It's about things doing. They want to be perceived. It's all bullshit.
Oh yeah, Vlamis is with Brock.
That's how I got it. That's how. That's what Simi Valley and that week of shooting. Settling in, knowing I could do drama. I still didn't know. I thought I could, and then I just kept going, building from there.
That's dope. So, I mean, I think we kind of did talk about your past accomplishments. How do you take all the success and just stay in the pocket in the present moment, right now where you are, writing one page at a time, one joke at a time?
Dude, because I'm not even close to where I want to be. And that's all it comes down to. I haven't done shit yet.
Yep.
Obviously I have, and you need to reward yourself. And I have my moments every now and then where I'm in the car and I'm like, oh, you're driving to your job, which puts you on a TV show. That's insane. Like, that's just crazy. Like, you got a girlfriend who's also like an actor in the biz. That's crazy. And an actor. It's like, there's shit that's just like, I am constantly like, this is nuts, dude. This life is insane that I get to do what my dream is. Like what I started doing in second grade, making short films. Like, I never thought it was a thing. So just consistently like remembering that I'm just so lucky and fortunate to be in the space. But at the same time, dude, I just want so much more.
I mean, even I remember when I feel like it was a FaceTime and you're like, dude, my Wi-Fi in my trailer. And I was like, hold on, buddy. We gotta check this one here. Your Wi-Fi, you're like, my fucking Wi-Fi in my trailer. I was like, hold on, Vlamis. I was like, we gotta check this guy here. But no, it's true. It's like you're living your truth. And that's the cool thing that's most attractive. And obviously the things that even your girlfriend, if she's having you read Eckhart Tolle, you're in the moment, I think one of the things that the pandemic has given me is this. I mean, you can see it. I'm like surrounded by plants. I'm like obsessed with plants now. And I'm just like, I've been taking photographs. I haven't shared a lot of them. I'm getting obsessed with photography, but like photosynthesis, the water cycle, just the whole thing. I'm looking at the underside, the undercarriage of like leaves, and I kiss them. I become a psychopath. I'm just all about it. But those things are like, the Eckhart Tolle moments where I'm like looking, like I was working out early in the morning, and the moon was out, and it was so early that the moon was still out, and this skunk walked by and kind of looked at me, and I was like looking at the skunk, and then rabbits are watching me like, what is this guy doing with his TRX bands? And there's something about it that like the moment. Whether it's driving to your set, we're exploring this very, very much a glorious time, which is we can be in this moment. We can step away from all the shit, all the past, and just go one foot in front of the next. Do you have any mentors? A lot of people, obviously you're self-motivated, but do you have anyone who kind of leaned in and helped you out?
Nah, bro. But my parents just were like showing me that I can do it. Both of them. My dad, when he was out of work for a little while and he wasn't sure what he was going to do. And, everything's relative, right? When you got big money, you got big expenses. And he didn't have big money, but he had big expenses sending his kids to college and plans. And we all went to private high schools. They made a life for us, my parents, right? But my dad was down and out at one point, and he decided to buy a motorcycle dealership. And he put like our house up with the bank and got a loan. And, he did that. He didn't know what he was doing, but he dove in. And he did well with that for a while. My mom is a computer programmer. She's an entrepreneur, has her own company, works out of the house. And she's she's just an absolute beast, dude. She is nonstop, man. I don't know how my mom does a psycho when it comes to her work ethic and just handling business, man. She's just go all the time. Sometimes I think she needs to slow down. I think I have a lot of that in me. And then a lot of my dad's competitive edge when it came to sports in me as well. And it's kind of this, it's a great cocktail, but those are the people that I look up to. They always made me feel like I can do it. You could do it. Why not you? And yeah, man, those are my heroes. Those are my men. Those are the people that I come in and get advice from. But no, dude, I didn't have anybody help me, man. I mean, I guess, I don't know, bro. This industry's so fucked. You get all with someone and they make a call and help you out, and then they just give you advice, or you tell them what you're doing and they're like, sounds like you're doing all the right, and just keep doing it, and I get it. What else, what's someone going to do for you? And you got to do it yourself, but I didn't have help from, I'm really trying to think about this. I didn't have help from anybody. I got to shout out though, my acting teacher, Sandy Marshall, who is retired now, just does private coaching. She was so hard on me that in 2015, 2016, I almost not that I would leave the industry, but I was showering in the morning on Thursdays when I had class that night thinking dude, maybe this isn't what you're supposed to do. She drove me to the point where I was doubting myself, if we're being honest. I was for sure doubting myself, dude. And I had never done that before. And then one day, man, I just got better. And without her pushing me though to the brink, because she believed in me, she saw something and I wasn't tapping into it. She pushed me to a point of most people probably would have went home. And man, that was what I needed to become who I am. So my parents, Sandy Marshall, and then, yeah, man, my manager, Will Douglas, is just a fucking beast. The guys, Willie D. You know Will?
No, I haven't. Oh, but I want to know Willie D. I like the name. I like. Hey, who doesn't want to know Willie D? Come on. I've been.
All my reps are awesome, but Willie D came on in 2017, and within 6 months, I was on a show. So the kid, the dude hustles. He's a beast. Yeah, man. And then all my mentors have been my friends, dude. My friends like Joe, Kyle. These people that I just see talent in and I'm inspired by them. And then it pushes me to go their level, that's it.
Yeah. That's cool. It's the same thing. I
wish
I haven't
a mentor, man. I wish have you had one? I mean, I guess maybe at Sony or something.
Absolutely no mentor. No, I almost had in Jeremy Gerlich. I don't know if you know this guy. He wrote The Breakup and The Wedding Ringer and director. He was, I punched up a bunch of stuff for them and wrote some stuff that ended up on air. And I think I was fostering that, but I sent him a crazy, I have bipolar disorder. So I sent him a crazy fucking email, and I just kind of, things are awkward when you're crazy and you send a stupid email, and it was a little awkward after that. It was like Kanye West is, the next Messiah type shit. And you need to send this through Kevin Hart. And he even let me in. He was like, come on back, write some more jokes. Here's another script, punch some more jokes up. So he knew I had the sauce, but I was just after that, I was rattled. I was like, man, I don't know if I should be cooking in this kitchen. You know what I mean? I was just like, I got to figure myself out. So, but yeah.
Specialty though, dude.
Sorry?
A lot of sense, man. That makes a lot of, dude, that's your specialty, man. That's your superpower.
I thought, you think of things, we always think of things as curses, right? And well, it's an interesting thing. Once we start seeing all the beauty in life as miracles, we start to realize that the miracles outweigh the curses, right? So, dude, I now I'm not even worried about it. I'm so resolute. I was like, I'm gonna write a comedy feature this year, and it's gonna be good. And my friend who I sent this, her name's Christine Medrano. She's an incredible writer, super good stand-up. And we made a sketch. We wrote a sketch, and it actually has no dialogue. It's like Lady and the Tramp, but for cocaine. And it was they get married and they do you snort the lactose. And it it was just all no dialogue, very like old school style. And we shot it. Her and I literally shot it just one camera and she edited it. I directed it. And we didn't even do anything with it. I think it went on YouTube or on her Funny or Die or something. And she's kind of made it. She got her into Tribeca as well last year. She got her film in there. She's repped. She's killing it. Yada yada yada. And then she played this at the Improv in front of like 500 people. They kind of do a little Google search and they're like, "What is this?" And it killed. Like standing ovation shit. And so I think we're going to be working on a feature comedy now. So it's like this kind of full circle thing. You write down your goals. The person just like presents themselves. We're going to work on it. It's like effortless kind of work. We've already done improv for like 4 years together. So similar to you and Kyle.
In that wavelength. Right.
Yeah. We have. Yeah. So I'm excited for that. Tell me, obviously, representation matters. Seeing unique perspectives on TV obviously matters. And your character, you're Michael Guerin. Am I saying that right? Guerin? I missed. Guerin is, an alien, not only an alien that is so nuanced, but you're also, bisexual. What is it like, representing a bisexual character on TV? And could you share anything for, people out there struggling with gender identity issues and their sexuality? Anything?
Yeah, dude. Man, I didn't think when I booked the role, I was just like, oh, this is new. I've never done this before. Going to be very, this will be a challenge that I want to live up to. And I really want to honor this role and this character. Dude, since the show has like come out, man, now I understand what we've been doing. Now I understand how important it really was that I was doing. The amount of people, someone just the other day DM'd me and said, I'm 29. They said to me, they wrote, I'm 29 years old. And this is the first time in my life I've seen myself identified as in a character. Like to the point where, because we did something very interesting in season 1. My character straight up says I'm bisexual. It's not that complicated. And like, that is, to me, I just think, oh yeah, of course, but to all these people that are binging TV all the time, they made it aware to me that isn't really said that often, or like bisexuality is almost like, it's like something that's just thrown in to, spice up the show or something like that. They're not really bisexual. They just like fooled around with a woman for a little bit and now they're going back. It's like, no, dude, there are bisexual people out there who they just aren't represented the way that they should be represented. They're represented as like this unicorn thing that, doesn't really exist. And it's like, no, these are real people with real feelings. And we should be honoring that. And that's what I get to do through this character. And dude, that's a probably fulfilling thing about the show is that so many people have reached out being like, you made me feel like I have a voice. You gave me, your performance gave me the confidence and the courage to come out to my family. And it's like, man, that's insane to like take on. I'm so proud of that, dude. So beautiful. Yeah, man. I don't know. It really opened up my eyes. These people the people in the LGBTQIA plus community have just, the empathy that they have, the inclusiveness, just pushes you to be a better person, man. And to really open up and pay attention to others and be empathetic and understanding. And, I always was those things, but now I really feel like I feel it even more because I feel that connection unity now that, no matter how I felt about the community before, always supportive. I didn't have multiple people every week telling me how they feel. And then that, you take that like, oh man, this is important.
It's beautiful. Yeah. It's cool to have, not just have your first big role, put you into a new trajectory and a new, not even stardom, but just you're now, you have purpose in your character, in your nuanced, dimensions in the way you act and the different expressions you're giving. And it's cool to see you. I don't know Tyler Blackburn, but just to see your merch that you're dropping. Obviously you guys are kind of like this, there is inspiration. It's a bromance that is beautiful to see. I love the everything you're doing with the show is just really cool. It's just,
well, thanks, man. Thank you. Yeah, Tyler and I, we actually just partnered. on our latest merch drop that's available like right now as we speak. And it's only available for a few days. So by the time people see this, you know, it's going to be gone. But I think it's important because to announce it because, you know, we always donate to a nonprofit with with a portion of the proceeds. The first the first merch drop I ever did, I donated 100% of proceeds. Then I learned quickly oh no, you need money to sustain your new business of merch. I pulled back a little bit, but we are donating right now to the Trevor Project, which, I didn't even know, but over 1 million kids a year in the LGBTQIA plus community are suicidal, because they carry this thing that society makes them feel like it's a burden when it should never feel like that. You know, it's ridiculous that that's what we've created as a society, but it seems like we're going away from that. And, you know, that makes me proud, but yeah, so the suicide prevention Trevor Project, you know, for anybody checking out, if they want to donate to them, they should check them out as well. It's a great organization. They take care of a lot of kids. So that's what we're trying to give back a little bit in that way right now.
Yeah, I guess it's a really perfect segue to what advice do you give to those out there who are, you know, obviously everyone has their own burden, their own thing that weighs in on their heart and their chest and their soul. You know, do you have any advice for those who are fighting day in and day out to kind of overcome maybe some depression or feelings that are, you know, maybe they want to harm themselves? Do you have anything to, like, hey, to maintain this positive outlook that you have, what would you recommend for them?
Yeah, well, I think first of all, it's important to say that I'm not always this way. I'd be lying to you if I said I was. During the pandemic, you know, my mom called me one day and said, "You haven't sounded like yourself for a month now." Like a mom knows, you know, no one else said anything to me. My mom says, "For a month?" I'm like, "What are you talking about, Mom? You didn't say anything." She was like, "Well, I just thought it was a little funk you'd snap out of." But dude, I think I was depressed, and I was depressed, you know, even with so many good things going on in my life. Just like everybody, we're human. We get down, you know. But I think the attitude that I have really comes down to seeing the good in everything. If something horrible happens to me in life, the way I cope with it is like, I cope with it by, it's like, oh, that happened. I just got mugged or something. Like, well, that's a hell of a story I could share with people. Like, I'm spinning the worst situations into positives. And I think it really stems back like a protective thing, you know, like being a kid who's, you know, overweight and probably not too, you know, I don't think I liked myself when I was a kid, you know. I think, you know, you learn how to build walls, and as you get older, you take those walls down, but it comes down to just accepting yourself, accepting who you are, trusting that you're a good person. And if you do make a mistake, I used to beat myself up real bad. It's what I learned through meditation. When you're meditating, it's easy to get distracted and be like, oh, fuck, you know, like, oh, I can't do this. I'm not good. It's like, no. The distraction's okay. The mistake's okay. Just let it coast by though. Know that you made a mistake, learn from it, accept it, and keep going. Don't dwell on it, you know? So I think it's just about like definitely focusing on what's good in your life. And I think I always feel better when I'm kind of giving back. And maybe that's ego, you know, but if you're giving back, it's coming from, you know, it's a good place. You're doing good things. So it's just like making it not about you. When you make it not about you, you realize like, dude, everybody feels this way. Everybody is down or up at certain, you know, we're all over the place. So once you start getting like, if you're feeling really, really down, there's someone else like that right now, and show them how you can rise, you know, because they might need that inspiration from afar. So I don't know, man, it's about making it not about you, I think is really the big thing, even though it's very hard to do. Yeah.
I just read, I bought some art, you know, of Jackie Robinson today, and it was like, it really, obviously I'm going to butcher this quote, and it was like Jackie Robinson said, you know, the purpose of life is to live your life, not for yourself, but for others. And it's like, wow, that's, you know, that, and you know, sure, there could be some ego when we give, and, you know, and all that stuff. There is a little bit, but the truth is it makes me feel good when when I'm doing something for others. There's something, even just if it's picking up trash, there's some strange, you know, Pavlovian thing that happens with me where I'm like, oh, I did this, or I volunteer. And I noticed that in the pandemic, I think you can't volunteer. Like my charity, I usually teach kids how to surf. I'm a god awful surfer with Pass the Stoke, but it's kids from the projects every Sunday morning, 8 a.m. to 12. We go in and you're pushing pretty much kids into waves. And what a cool experience to get to learn how to surf, supervised and in a safe environment, beautiful beaches in Will Rogers State Beach. And that's kind of a thing that I think we're all I at least know that our time is the most valuable resource, right? And so giving back, you're also giving, money, but you're also giving your time right now, just even talking about it, talking about the Trevor Project, talking about everything that your goals are and destigmatizing however people feel. And because a lot of the shells, even we're talking about the walls of our society and the walls of Hollywood are built on that everyone is perfect. And then the second that we see a little crack in that wall, we want to break it down in that wall. We don't want anything behind that wall. If it's a house, no, it's done. Burn the house. And there's something cool about that silver lining. You were kind of hinting at it, finding the positive in things. It's cool. Like Silver Lining Playbook. I really was able to. It's so good, and I related a lot. A lot of. I obviously am not. I never have hit anyone. But the Coops is popping. He's popping his dad. He's throwing books through windows. It's great. And I'm like Hemingway. The whole thing. And J Law, she's savage. But at the end, they arc to this place where acceptance and love and giving back to each other eventually brings us to a great place. So I think it's a perfect segue to our second chance section of the pod, which is, brought to you by #StopTheStigma. We're going to take a moment to be grateful for moments like these where we can have a sip of coffee or tea. The Broken Dove podcast is sponsored by Kilo. Kilo app takes a qualitative approach to tracking your mental health by analyzing the quality of your sleep, workout, diet, even libido. Kilo keeps me dialed in. Kilo motivates me to work hard in and out of the gym. It also helps me maintain relationships and keep perspective, because no matter how bad you got it, someone has it worse. And trust this, we need you out there. Maybe do it for your son, your student. Do it for someone you've yet to meet, your inner savage. Dig in and do work. Kilo, building better humans. Okay, so we're back in. I think we already kind of did a lot of this, but how do we open up this conversation about body image, about sexuality and mental health, and how do we destigmatize the issues here?
Dude, I think it's increasing our empathy and knowing that what it's like to walk in your shoes. You don't know what it's like to walk into someone else's shoes. And always being positive and focusing on, what you can control. Right? Like we could easily sit here and be like, well, while I should, like, not everyone's going to stop littering. Like we were talking about picking up trash, I'm just one person. I stop littering. It's like, nah, dude, it starts with us. We have to remember that it does definitely start with us. And if everybody feels that way, then the collective is going towards a common goal. But I just think it comes down to, like, you can't shame people just because they're different. Right? Like people love to do that. It's so interesting. And then if you look in the mirror, like, you are so flawed. I am so flawed. Like, we are all extremely flawed. And once you accept that you are nowhere near perfect, I think it takes you off your little high horse a little bit. And I think that's the biggest thing, is to know that you are flawed just like the person across from you. And you want love, acceptance, understanding, just like the person across from you. It's just knowing that we're all not as different as we try to make ourselves out to be sometimes. But dude, I don't know, man. That's like I hope that could ever happen. But I think it's like not being afraid to speak your mind. I know this year has made me feel, now when it comes to like racial inequality that I see, dude, I'm speaking up, man. If someone texts me a joke or something, like someone I grew up with who I haven't talked to in years in Chicago, like reaches out and says like a joke that in the past, man, I might've been like, oh, that's a weird thing to say, but, he's just joking. Now I'm like, yo, dog, this spawns systemic racism. And I can no longer be this person who sits back and, just says, oh, so-and-so I've just known forever and has a good heart is joking when they say this, it's calling people out and disassociating yourself from people that, don't want to spread love or don't want to spread a good message. but at the same time, you want to hope those people get on your same page. So, like something like that happened to me, man. And it was someone that a family friend I knew for a while. And I was just like, dude, don't ever say this to me again. I called him out, and we're good. We're still buddies. And hopefully that opened up his eyes. And I don't know, man, I just can't be that close to people that aren't as inclusive as I would like the world to be right now. And I think back in the day, I would have given people the benefit of the doubt, oh, they're just kidding. It's like, nah, dude, because that joking stems from something. And the fact that you even think that this is a matter that we should be making jokes on is not okay. Right. So I think it's calling people out. It's actually sticking to the principles that you have all the time, which is so hard, of course, but we always got to be aim to be, socially responsible. So yeah, man, it just starts with us. I rambled per usual there, but
no. I mean, it's an interesting thing, Vlamis. I've said joke. I mean, it's interesting because I've said jokes to people, even in this where we've had a shorthand where we're making jokes, and I just have realized that I need to, even if someone says a joke to me that is about race, and say that person's a person of color, I'm just like, hey, you know what? That subject, it's not my time to make jokes. It's not my time to make anything of that nature. It probably is never going to be my time again. It's just so saying jokes about, someone's religion. It's just like the Conor McGregors of the world. Like, you can't revere these people who are saying really terrible things. And the one thing I've noticed is that the second chance idea that my philosophy is that we are, whether it's thoughts are things, right? Thoughts are things that we, even if they're bad thoughts, we have to, my opinion is we need to forgive ourselves. Like, we probably grew up saying stuff that we shouldn't have about different sexualities, different religions, different orientations. And I'm just trying to live I want to try to forgive myself if I've ever made a mistake, and then be open about it. Like, oh shoot, I've appropriated this culture and I've done this wrong. And I didn't think about it until an awakening that happened, which is kind of this philosophical thing that's growing in you, and it's growing in me, and it's growing in a lot of people that, we can't really, it's the past. It's hard to really know what that person was, right? It's hard to really know what their intention is. Obviously, there are people who are going to say heinous stuff always. And it seems even 2 days ago, the 6W, there's some sort of thing that 6 million isn't enough or something, like, and they're like the nooses and the thing. You're just like, what?
Man, yeah, the gallows. The world is, there's a lot of hate, dude. It's
a lot of hate.
Really unfortunate. It's just that it's no longer okay to be ignorant.
No.
Not that it ever was, but there's so much information out there, and different minority groups have really spoke up, which it wasn't even their job to speak up. We should have, the American population should have been educating themselves about these things. That, it's on us, man. It's on us. And I've learned so much over the past few years with the show, with different people's sexuality, with race. Yeah, man. It starts with us, and I think it does come down to being forgiving. But like some of those, dude, like I'm not forgiving that people putting gallows out there. Like
it's unforgivable.
I try to turn the cheek. I don't know if I can. I'm not.
No, that's unforgivable. Dude, don't storm
and beat up a cop with a fire extinguisher. Like, don't do that,
dude. I'm a little gnarly. I'm just like, don't come to the citadel of democracy. Like that. I am not a fighter, but there is a thing that like, it gets me. Like, I'm just like, oh man, this is Sparta kind of stuff. But democracy is really important, and it needs to be respected. One of the things I did notice is that you went to the BLM protests in LA, and despite obviously I have a lot of fears of coronavirus, I went to all of them as well. Not every single one for 6 months, but I went to a lot of them. Why was it important for you to show your support despite the risk of catching a disease?
Dude, that was actually a big talk with my house, with my girlfriend. Was we all decided that, hey man, we're in this together. We believe in the cause. We think it's bigger than COVID right now. We got to get out there. So that was actually a big house decision. Cool. I think what it comes down to, if we're being completely honest, I think I've had a lot of privilege in my life with the color of my skin. I think I've gotten away with so many things because of what I look like. You know, I've done some bad things in my life, man. I was a punk as a kid. I was a fat kid who wanted acceptance, and you got that through vandalism or being funny or being a class clown or whatever it was, man. And a lot of those things I wouldn't have got a second chance on, I think, if I was a minority. So I fully accept that. I fully believe that. And, you know, I think it's my, you know, we have a responsibility to make sure that there's racial equality. And so I felt that. I'm also dating a Black woman. So I've never been this close to, I think I'm not going to say I understand the other side. I probably will never fully understand the other side, but to trying to understand the other side by being so close with my girlfriend who I love so much, Black woman in America, and seeing, since we started dating, the comments that are left on posts that we post together or people that DM her, you know, racism is out there and it is abundant and it is an atrocity. And I think it starts with us as a people coming together, and accepting the privilege that we have had, and to fight it, to fight systemic racism. You know, no excuses left to be made for anybody, in my opinion.
But I believe we all know, at least this is what my spirit believes, is that eventually good always wins. Love always wins. It's going to win. It's going to overcome. And even just
100%.
Stop this. Even just in this alone, I've had one of my friends who used to say some unique things that were inappropriate. I was able to persuade him to not say those things and to go to the protest, and he was inspired. So, you know, if you can, it's kind of like one of my favorite short stories was Chicken Soup for the Soul. I don't know if you remember those, but there's the starfish one, and there's one where there's a sea of starfishes on a beach, and there's a girl and she's throwing them back into the ocean, and someone comes up to her and is like, "Hey, what are you doing? There's thousands of starfish. You're not going to be able to save them all. You're not going to be able to save all the starfish by the time the water's going out." And she's like, "Well, you know, it doesn't matter because I saved this starfish." So if we just think of it like finding that, and it might be your friend you're referring to, it's cool that we, you know, that one starfish will, you know, has a lot of arms that reach out and can change things and the roots of the world. Well, let's transition to our last little rapid section and we'll be out of here, Vlamis. This has been, I knew we were going to do this for a while. I knew we were going to have a vibe on the, so this is our rapid fire section. So we're going to think fast, quick as you can, quickest respond as possible. All right. And here we go. Okay. Lou Malnati's or Giordano's?
Lou Malnati's.
All right, great. Mark Pryor or Sammy Sosa?
I had two Maltese named Sosa as a kid. Sammy Sosa.
Okay. Second City or Improv Olympic?
Second City.
Pizza or pasta?
Pizza.
Beer or blunt?
Blunt.
Sam Hayes or Joe Manconi?
Next.
Okay. Sorry. Janine Mason or Tyler Blackburn?
Oh, you're putting me on it. Okay. Well, actually, I can answer this one because Janine is me. She's Vlamis. So I can't say myself. So I got to just say Tyler, you know?
Halo Top or Sunbum?
Halo Top.
Dinner or dessert?
Oh, both, dude. You need it.
Okay. All right. Well, then we are in our last section. We just, if you want to throw a plug and throw a little shout out to what you have going on and what you're working on, you have a few films.
Yeah. Okay. So my first movie that I produced and starred in is, we talked about it earlier, 5 Years Apart. You can rent that on Amazon Prime, iTunes, Apple Store, Google Play, YouTube, whatever. Check it out. That'd be awesome. And if you check it out, leave a review somewhere. That'd be even cooler. Even if it's a 1 star, fuck it. Throw it up. And then aside from that, dude, yeah, just writing and, you know, got some projects moving. Hope to direct it's looking like I'll be directing my first movie with Kyle in June. So I'm excited for that. Yeah, man, Roswell season 3 should be coming out soon. You know, it'll be out on CW, and then other seasons of Roswell, if you want to watch season 1 and 2, are on Netflix right now, Roswell, New Mexico. But otherwise, yeah, man, a lot of stuff that's not worth, you know, like we could go on for days. Is it very close to happening?
I see.
But let's talk about it once it, you know.
But we do have 5 Years Apart, guys. Please go watch it. It's a really poignant story. our mutual friend Joe Manconi. It's his directorial debut. You guys are incredible. I think it's a beautiful film from start to finish. Obviously, it's an indie feature film, and you guys did a great job. And it's well shot. John Coram, is that right? Am I saying his name right?
Coram.
Coram is the kid. The Slay Dragon is the DP behind it. It looks good. The acting's great. You get to see, obviously, V Money. I want to say full trowel, dropping the hammer. Michael Fassbender, he's doing the dance. He does the Fassbender. So it's my favorite part of the film. I'm just like, holy cow. And yeah. And obviously, we'll put all the stuff in the metadata. But Michael, dude, thank you so much for this. I really appreciate it. It's good to catch up.
My boy, dude. Thank you, man. Thank you for wearing this, man. It means a lot.
Boom, baby. All right, dude. We'll catch up soon, man. The Broken Up Podcast is executive produced by Ellen Utrecht, edited by Megan Solano, audio by Dory Bavarsky, artwork by Neve Bavarsky. Please like, subscribe, follow, support. Love them all. They're amazing humans. They deserve your hugs, digital or otherwise. Thank you for tuning in, and we cannot wait to see your rave reviews. Just do it. Give it a smash. Smash that like button. Smash a comment. Throw a little poll to refresh. Clubhouse. Club Mouse. Thank you.